Hey y'all, welcome to my podcast, Loving My Growth, with me, Vette. It is 2022. We made it. We here. I'm here. As you can see, no guests. But I'm just going to recap a little bit and just talk a little bit. Recap last year. I did 12 episodes and it was interesting. My first idea was to just kind of recap each episode, give you some highlights, and it was eye-opening, to say the least, in what I was able to accomplish in a year. So, as most of you know, 2020, I was on a podcast with my sister, Revolutionary Rika. I did an episode for her in August of 2020. I then did an episode, I want to say October, of How Do You View You with Griffinstein. And both Don and Rika both encouraged me to do my own show. And I was with it. First show, episode 1. First episode was October. End of October. It was the end of October. And that episode I did was basically remembering the past with my sisters, Teresa and Rika. And it was fun. It was really fun. Looking back on it, I enjoyed it. It was funny. I thought I needed more than what I really needed. So I had a lot of props and tricks and things like that. We laughed. We reminisced. A couple things that I did enjoy from that episode, which is probably the only episode you're going to get extra tidbits for. We talked about regrets. From our childhood, and of course my sister who beats up everybody. Treese talked about beating up Benny.
Benny, I do regret beating you up the time you jumped off the elevator, and we used to do no hit backs and we would jump off. Well, when he jumped off on his floor, he did like that and he hit the side of my face. It wasn't like he was meaning to do it. It was like something we did, and he didn't know Mom was our mom. And Mom, I don't know where her foot came from, because that elevator door was like that much closed. She said, "What? You better go tear that ass up." So I was like, but she said, she pushed me off the elevator, and Benny was standing there like, and I was like, "Sorry, gotta beat you up." Tack, 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 tack. And then we got on the elevator with her, but I had to keep apologizing to him because he was crying. I was like, "Mom, that was my friend." "No, he slapped you in your face. That ain't your friend." But he didn't mean to. It was like we normally hit the shoulder and he got right here. That foot came and stopped that elevator door like that from closing. And I was like, oh man, I got beat up my friend. I just beat him down. I was like, she's like, "Now get on this elevator. You don't let nobody touch you." You know, she was going on. And I was just like, but I always felt bad about that because I was like, he didn't mean it. You know, it was a game we played, which she didn't know about, and he didn't know that was our mama. Mm. But it was just like, dang, Benny, I'm sorry. And he was just like, it's cool after a while, you know, but I had to beat that boy down for no reason, basically.
No, so, yeah. She had a reason. It just wasn't the reason that you...
Well, if she had listened to me, because you know I tell her nowadays, I go, you know, I was your child that never lied to you. And she was like looking at me with it. I said, I never lied to you. And this one time, and you will whoop me, and this one time I lied to you, you believe me. And I was like, I'll be damned. And she was like, for real. And then she started laughing about it. I said, Mom, that's not funny, because I was like, it doesn't, in my mind as a kid, I'm saying, it doesn't pay to tell the truth because I get a whooping every time I tell the truth. But that one time I lied to her, she believed it. And I was like, something is wrong here. So how did she believe that? But
she was working on
it. Yeah.
I don't think she said his last name, so it could be any Benny. So, yeah. Sorry, Benny. And then we talked about Christmas. My grandmother actually passed. That year, 2020, in June. So we actually reminisced on one Christmas we had at Rika's house, and my grandmother blessed everybody in the house. and she got her blessing oil, and you went and you sat down next to her, and she put her hands on you and, you know, rubbed the oil on your head and your hands and your feet. So that actually was a good memory. I actually enjoyed talking about that. My second episode was about holidays. I was supposed to record it with my sister Treese because she's the holiday queen. She sends cards for all holidays, even Halloween. You know, we do Easter baskets for Easter. She does cookies for Christmas, the gingerbread cookies and the trimming the tree. She does all that, but she was unavailable. So I, at the last minute, was able to get my ex, who's now my ex, but at the time we were together. You know, right. That day for me is to come together as a family and be thankful that we are a family and right. that we celebrating together. I'm not big on to-go plates and all that. Just, you know, if we gonna eat a little bit, leave it there.
Right. Take it so we can sit in the refrigerator in my house. No, leave it at your house in the refrigerator.
So what's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Something you actually have to have every year on Thanksgiving.
Again, I say, truthfully be told, I don't have like a super like I gotta have that dish, but I do like the combination of greens and cornbread, and macaroni and cheese.
To be on the episode with me. Okay, we talked about holidays. So, okay, episode 3. Episode 3 for me was interesting because a lady by the name of Kathy, her business is Love Yada Be, reached out to Don, and because she had seen the podcast and she was interested. So she came on, we discussed her brand, which is a fusion of beauty, lifestyle, love, beauty, love, and lifestyle.
Build some wealth, have a different, get a little bit of freedom, you know.
So when you say wealth, what's wealth to you?
Wealth to me is having freedom, having flexibility. Of course, it's monetary, right? You know, money, investments.
But it all kind of comes together if you have the money.
My children, right? I'm not saying that I want to go, you know, buy or whatever the car is now that yacht, an airplane, all that stuff. No, I just want to have a lifestyle, right? And have something for my children. Right? Okay. All right.
And we talked about her planner. She actually did a planner for her 50th birthday, and she ended up producing it and actually selling it. And since that episode, we've actually became great friends. I'm actually her business coach. So coached her into starting another business, which is Mary B. Pop and Pop-Up Shops. So she actually puts on pop-up shops and recruits vendors, and really great person. She actually has she had 50-ish around the time she did the planner. She also did t-shirts, and I think I had that said 50-ish. So now she has a kind of calendar planner for 2022. And it's pretty thick. Kind of reminds me of like a Bible, like at your grandma's. It just don't have the kind of goldish stuff around the edge. But it has the little tag. bookmarked to keep your pages. So if you're interested, you can either inbox me or at Love Yada B on Instagram, and I believe Facebook as well, and get you a 50-ish planner. So from there, my episodes begin to move on to more mental, emotional things. I did an episode with a friend of mine, Dom, who was certified as a life coach.
So if you are interested, please do hit up Dominic Anthony and get on his roster. Let him help you transform. Be that transformation. Figure out what it is that you need. And I'm just all giddy inside right now. So I thank you for coming on and letting the people know, how to grow, because we loving our growth. And we've grown, and we're going to share it with the people, and we're going to bring y'all along with us.
I did an episode with a man that I met on Facebook based off of a post that he wrote about the trauma that he experienced as a 4-year-old. My guest today is Lee. Is it Renfield?
Renfro. Renfro.
Okay, Junior.
Yeah.
Crazy story. I'm on Facebook, scrolling, looking for ideas, business stuff, just reading stuff, and I came across a post. And that post touched me. And it was God. I'm going to say it was, because normally I'll be like, oh, and the little yellow man holding the heart and hugging, I'll put it and then move on. But I was inspired to comment. And from there, I was inspired to, hold on.
Yeah.
We need to bring him on the show. Hold on. Let's get it together. So I did mention it. I reached out. And that was, a week ago?
Yeah.
Moving fast.
Yeah.
And now we have you here.
Yes.
Go ahead and tell my viewers about you. Who is Lee?
Well, my name is Lee Renfro from San Francisco, California, Double Rock, Bayview, Hunters Point. And I was born 6/30/1972. I'll be 49 my next birthday. Ooh. And I was a pretty loving child. I was always, I remember from the age of 3 where I was always wanting to give mama a hug, give daddy a hug, give kisses and stuff like that, and tell people I love you. And at the age of 4, I had some visitors, which was my cousin and his girlfriend. He was 19, she was like 17, 18. And it started from there where he used to like to hold me and give me kisses and stuff like that. And it was just a loving thing. Till one night I woke up and he called me in the room that he was staying with us in. And me and my other siblings start playing with his penis. And, he just allowed it. And the things that went on was just like new and actually fascinating to me, Right. And
as a kid,
I was like, "Whoa!"
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
4 years old.
4 years old. Yes.
And just because I put a whole bunch of energy into something doesn't mean that you value that thing. But if I put a whole bunch of energy into it, I can take an idea from the ether and turn it into something tangible, and I can put it out there in the world and make it available. That's success to me.
Just something from nothing.
Everybody to another episode of Melanated Harmony. Today my host is Alexis.
as a black culture or a black group, we don't teach our kids the fundamentals of values or morals or credit or how to be self-sufficient, how to survive, how to budget, how to save money, how college is the most essential part of life. Trade school is just, the devil. But that's another topic.
And he came on, and I think that was the most emotional episode that I did last year. A lot of great feedback, and now I keep in touch with him as well. We're friends on Facebook. Really great guy. His name is Lee Renfro. Hey, Lee. From there, I want to say my favorite episode was probably the 5th episode, which was the camp episode. We had so much fun doing that episode. And I did say we were going to do another one. And I think in 2020, I want to definitely carve out a space for my camp alumni to come on and discuss, how camp shaped them and their love for that environment, the trees, the dirt, the people, the everything about it. Whereas when we got camp fever, because you couldn't wait for them to put out, okay, when is camp gonna start? Okay, now that I'm working. Exactly. When y'all sending the contracts out, Larry, and you was just hyped and ready and just counting the, after Christmas was over, it was about camp. It was about camp and what was coming up.
Yeah. I got one quick one and then a real one.
Okay.
The first one is whooping the boys on the basketball court in Apache and in front on the side of the dining hall.
Okay.
No, because I couldn't go. I was there, so I couldn't go to basketball camps.
Right.
So that became like that taught me how to play against boys. So when I was playing against the girls, it was easier in high school, right? Because I was there every summer. But the real one for me is Jabba. Hut. Jabba. There's so many fond memories of Ken Smith. Like, he taught me how to make grilled cheese with mayonnaise, and it actually tastes better than when you do it with butter.
Okay.
He taught me a lot of kitchen skills, right? Then he taught me how to be who I need at that age, like being silly and showing that you care and really care about the kids, and willing to put yourself out there. Might look a fool, but the kids always end up liking it, no matter how crazy you get. And on the last days, the hardest kids, they the ones crying, don't want to leave.
Yeah.
So he really taught me youth development, and so I my memories is of him. And then like 2 years ago, maybe now 3 years. Last year this time we was planning a memorial piece, so we could talk about him, and pandemic happened.
Right.
So I
think it was 2 years then, because that would have been the year anniversary.
Yeah. So he died while working for me at El Hill Hutch, and that I had to take off for like a week. I didn't realize how much camp put into who I am today. Like, it's about caring for other people. Kids who didn't have, we gave them stuff at the canteen. You ain't got no money, you can come get an ice cream every day, because we know you didn't come up there with nothing or whatever it was. And then by the end, they felt like they had new family. I never really seen a kid walk away from there and not feeling a little bit better if they came up there. Because we know a lot of people had trauma. But the Ken Smiths, the Orpheuses, the Kashakas, Larry, all of them, they really, they showed us how to be vulnerable and how to just be transparent and have fun. So we can inspire those other young people coming up behind us. And so you got their generation, we passed the torch, and then they did the same thing. So that's my memory.
I think looking back, they were all good with kids if you think about it. Like Lee, Jose, Sheldon, James, Lucius. If you think about it, and they were young. But that energy, Ken, I just remember his energy. A guy like that have energy with all the kids and everything. So that's my takeaway.
It was a great time. I actually rewatched it the other day, and it really made me smile, because we laughed, and it was a good time. from there, memories, I honestly, they all kind of jumbled up. I think Elam was next. He was either first or next. And that was mental health from a Black man's perspective, and talked about, how he suffers and how he copes, and, things that have happened that made him who he is today. I think that was a really good episode. I wanted to do that one because there's so many of us out here that are suffering from mental illness, which, everybody's like, oh, ain't nothing wrong with you. You okay. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to believe. So you hide it. You hide it the best that you can. But a lot of times you hide and it just makes it worse. So the word for last year was trauma. I think everybody got trauma, and we talk about it all the time, dealing with your trauma and how it affects you. I also had Dr. Regina Whitaker on the show, who also talked about growing up in the Bayview Hunters Point and actually becoming a PhD, or she said the white man's PhD therapist. And she works with mostly men in the system and helping them deal with their trauma. But she was also willing to work with all people, of African American descent, because we as a people are so against telling other people our business, and the traumas that we're going through. It's time to break that stigma and get it out. So she did say, if you are looking for a therapist, a Black therapist at that, reach out to me, Lavette. You can inbox me, and I can get you in touch with her so that you can get the help that you need. I then spoke with my sister, Laquita, and she really wants to help the youth. You think back to things that you went through in your teenage years and what help you didn't have, what the mentor that you didn't have to say what you're doing is wrong, this is how you do it, or to guide you in doing the right thing. So she's working on Miss Q's Facts About Life, and hopefully that'll be coming out this year in 2022.
For anything that has happened, the only person I've ever spoken to about it is you and my best friends, or my eldest brother, Sean, our older brother, and
the old dude.
And people have just explained, like, hey, people deal with this every day. Right. So, find a way to ease it. And with me, I can feel it coming on to where it starts in my nose and in my face. And immediately I'm just breathing really mellow and calming myself, and it's over. I haven't had a panic attack or anxiety attack in probably like 3 to 4 years. My anxiety isn't that bad
right
anymore. And so
we watched fireworks this year together. We was right there. So definitely.
But that's another thing that I want to touch bases on, just with these children, the anxiety, depression, because they live it. And it's a lot worse now because of social media, things that they feel they have to live up to. That's not real life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But anxiety, depression, what these kids are feeling going into these schools every day with bomb threats and shootings and, a bigger issue, racism or systemic racism or anything. And the things that we are living today that we go through as adults, these kids, they're stressed. Like, I've never seen kids this stressed before, you know, and so they just need a lot of guidance.
They need you.
They
need you. They need us. They need this. They need the outlet. They need the love. They need the
love, definitely.
So we are definitely gonna get that together and get it out. So definitely, everybody, please look out for Miss Q's Facts on Life, because she's coming.
Thank you.
Whether it's podcasts, workshops, it's all being worked out, and it's just look for it. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Always. You're going to be on here again, so don't even worry about that. We go, once it's up and running, we're going to be back next season to tell about it.
With much more to tell.
Yes. I also spoke with Mookie Moore. He also did a post about family beefs, how our parents and their siblings fight, so it kind of trickles down so that the cousins never get to interact because the siblings are upset with each other for something as simple as, okay, maybe it ain't as simple as you took my boyfriend, you know, sisters fighting over somebody that one of them, like, whatever the case may be. But we discussed that, and
like, say, you know, example, like you're telling somebody what they're doing is hurting you. And their response is, oh, well, that's who I am. It's like, I think we also got to kind of do some work on ourselves, well, a whole lot of work within our families to kind of look at and see where we might be doing some harm to somebody.
Basically, a lot of secrets that our parents' generation had and still have, because some of them haven't came out, so we don't know full stories on why, you know, you got the crazy uncle that lives in a garage, or why you never see the oldest sibling of the bunch or what have you, because we're not talking. We don't talk to each other. We don't deal with trauma or issues, you know. You let this person put their hands on me. You didn't come to my defense. And little do you know, that person was afraid too. They couldn't come to your defense because they were afraid. So just really coming up with communication. Communicate, be open, be honest, so that you are aware of your family history. I just found out I got vitiligo. If I didn't say it right, that's okay. But I have it on my neck and didn't know. You know, a couple months went by and it kept getting bigger. Come to find out, my mom was like, oh yeah, I had that. And I would have known earlier on what was going on if I probably would have knew that. That was something.
Family, it's your girl, Revolutionary Rika. Please tune in the last day of every month for Revolutionary Rika Speaks at 6 p.m. If you miss it on my page on YouTube, Revolutionary Rika Speaks, check it out on the Dark Network, 247.com. I can't wait to see you. Come get this game.
She had. So basically, as a family, get rid of the secrets. Talk about it. You never know. You know, get it done. Last but not least, the episode with Vince and Jermaine. We talked about addiction and recovery. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the beefs, the trauma.
Give us some A-ball. What is A-ball? We asked the local drunk at the liquor store, and he was like, "It's Old English, youngster." And so he was like, "Oh, all right, well, let's go get a 40 of some Old English." And that's where it kicked off for me. What drove it and then kept it going was childhood trauma.
Something we talk about all the time. So with that childhood trauma, that's where the coping, people use it to cope with whatever issues. Instead of taking the route of going to therapy and working on those issues, then they turn to something that is readily available. Is it?
Okay, look at it like this.
Can you go buy it like you go in the store and get some candy?
Buy what? First off, what you talking about?
Drugs, period.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, some people, all I gotta do is walk outside their door.
Very true.
I mean, if you grow up in the hood, you know about drugs before you know anything else. And before you know your ABCs, you know about drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, so
yes.
In the hood, therapy is taboo. You tell somebody that you're going through therapy and they start thinking something's wrong with your mentals.
It is.
But you just may have some trauma. That's not you being mentally unstable.
Right.
And that's what people consider therapy, is being mentally unstable.
Right. The man standing on the corner talking to himself.
Right.
And all the stuff.
And all he is addicted. Right. You know what I'm saying? He addicted to some kind of drug.
You know, a lot of times, especially I feel our parents' generation, their way of coping was with drugs. Now, I think my generation got more help. And then the upcoming generation, my kids, really are getting more help and are more open to discussing different things. But my parents' generation, you weren't supposed to go, don't tell nobody what goes on in this house. You know, I don't care. The doctor at the school, well, what happened? Nothing. You weren't supposed to talk about it. And because they were told they couldn't talk about it, the only way that they can get through it was to medicate. And because that's what they knew at a young age, that's what they continued to do all their life. Which medicating messes up families. And then you're addicted, and then there goes the addiction and recovery. A long time I didn't understand what was the fascination behind drugs until I learned that it's an illness. It's an illness. It's not necessarily, as a kid I used to think, or as a young adult, that my father didn't love me because he chose that over me. It's an illness. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't too much fault the addict. It's the dealer that I have a problem. Because you're banking on somebody's downfall, somebody's illness, somebody's trauma to make $1. So, here in 2022, I do plan on continuing on. Struggling right now. You know, holidays always get me down. So I'm trying to build myself back up, and
I'm just basically, anytime a stressful situation come up, I kind of like just woos out, or I get into my grab folder and I just try and keep on focusing on what I'm doing on positive things. So So yeah, I'm trying my best not to stress, but yeah, it's a natural thing for humans to do. So yeah, I'm just finding ways to deal with it differently now versus being curled up in the ball and being emotional and letting it overtake me.
Right, it's work. It's definitely work. You know, people can say, "Oh, don't stress." Okay, it's not that easy.
Right.
You know, you really have to be like, okay, am I stressing? Am I tripping? Why am I tripping? Okay.
Right.
Okay, what can I do right now? How am I going to respond to what just triggered me? And, you know, that's a lot of work. That's why we fly off the handle, because we don't want to do the work.
Right.
You know, it's a natural emotion. So it does take, you know, attention. You have to know and understand what's going on, and then say, okay, what are my choices? So it may be in a split second, but thinking about it, it seems like that's going to take forever for me to stop and think about what this person just said, what my natural response is, why that's not good, and, you know, but it's going to take time. It's going to be all right. Get out there and bring you more better content. Last year was fun. In the beginning, I had a long list of stuff I wanted to do, and I think maybe 1 or 2 things off that list I actually talked about, because so many things kept coming up, and it was like, oh, I gotta get that. Oh, I gotta get that. So I think it'll probably be more streamlined this year, and I don't know, maybe get into some editing. Definitely still business coaching, doing some workshops, things like that. Whatever, if you guys feel there's something that you want from me to hear about, to, you know, see a show about, definitely hit me. You can email me at lovingmygrowth20@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook. I'm under Vette Grant. I do have a page called Loving My Growth. You can hit me there. And I'm also on Instagram. I believe it's Vette Grant. But you'll be able to find me. Send me a message. Let me know if you enjoyed any of the episodes. Please go back. They're all on YouTube. They're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So I feel like it's my responsibility to bring it. Because mental health is important to me.
You are going to reach people that she doesn't reach. She's going to reach people at her financial level. And she'll reach people that may want to follow her. You're going to reach individuals that will not be targeted. It's the underserved population. Those are the people that really need it, and these are the people that become a Taraji Henson. Because remember, she wasn't always there.
Right.
She was where we were at.
Right.
And then she will get, and that's the only reason I did this, is because when people say, Hunter's Point, you came from Bayview, what school did you go to? And then when I said it, go, are really? 2 people I know of in my generation got their doctorates. 2 I know for a fact. One is Savon Banks. She's a professor. I saw it on her Facebook page this morning. She has her PsyD, and I got the old white man's degree. I got the PhD. That's the only difference.
You can find me, Loving My Growth. It actually pops up. So, watch the episodes. Comment. Anything you saw that I could have did better. I love feedback. Feedback. Please let me know. I'm always looking to grow, make things better. And with that, don't forget, OCAR, we're here. We're doing workshops 2022. It's all about to get better. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, keeping up, you know, get those views up, and I'll be back with more content. I appreciate you. Happy New Year. Love you.
Dark Network.